So hey y'all, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video podcast edition. So by the title, we're going to be talking about how city girl and hot girl culture affected women within the millennials and Generation Z. Now, this topic is going to spark the tendency to call me anti-women, a hater, male-identified, pro-misogyny, and every other word that I get on the daily. And I'm here to tell you, I don't give a flying phalange finger that y'all think holding women accountable is a bad thing. You can agree to disagree, but the names really tickle my fancy every time because I think people be more mad that I'm speaking some truth about some very touchy topics, and the shoe literally be fitting some of y'all like a Cinderella glass slipper. I think city girl and hot girl culture has definitely affected this entire generation, from millennials all the way down to the kids that are after Gen Z. And we all know it has. So this video topic stems from a viral tweet that picked up traction on Twitter. So the user says, city girls and hot girls came out here and literally misled millions of women and effed their lives up, all while having a man at home and literally living by none of the ish they was saying. Now y'all begging for romance after being literally influenced by music. LMFAO. Now. This post was written by a man, so I will side-eye the intentions of the message from this specific messenger. But the message in itself is facts. And here's the thing. I'm not even mad that people are city girls and hot girls because I don't necessarily think the movement fully encompasses negativity in all ways. But I do think the culture of F men, scam these nakers, get a bag, use men for their money, sexualize yourself for attention, and specifically male attention, was pushed by the city girls and Meg Thee Stallion. If you disagree with that, you're just not being honest with yourself. I will be the first to say that I don't think being pro city girl or pro hot girl makes you a hoe, because one, you don't necessarily have to act on it. Two, I don't think the movement is symbolic to how many partners you have had. And three, there are some positive things that do come from the message that women can and should internalize. However, let's be real. The other side is the imagery of what city girl and hot girls have pushed is really a caricature of a lot of the reasons why young women are so messed up in 2023. And by messed up, I mean the yearning to only get with men for what they can do for you and not who the man is, the obsession with being seen as a baddie and the lengths some women are going to be social media versions of a baddie, and the rise of shaming other women who don't want to conform to this narrative. I've never heard the word pick me being used to insult women more than ever before until city girl and hot girl culture was in full effect. And the Twitter user is kind of right when he says these women were encouraging women to be damn near anti-men, or at least anti-relationships and stability, all while having a man, being dumb for dick in certain cases, and even admitting that they don't necessarily follow everything that their lyrics entail. So I thought this would be a very thought-provoking and highly debated topic. I'm literally ready to be dragged and called names, and I think this subject matter is so relevant in today's world of women. So I've broken this video down into 3 main talking points. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So point number 1 is musicians and their lyrical influence. So I think the main thing here is that clearly musicians like Meg Thee Stallion, City Girls, Cardi B, Saweetie, Nicki Minaj, Glorilla, Lotto, and all of the newer girls have been pushing the same narrative for so long that it has festered into the lives of many young women without a lot of people realizing it. People can argue on whether or not their message and their tone of their lyrics are intentionally composed to have such an effective outcome, but I think what's really evident is the fact that these lyrics are very impressionable. I think music has always been impressionable no matter what, because I remember back when Omarion dropped the song Post to Be and Janae Aiko told y'all that these nakers gotta eat the booty like groceries. And a lot of young people took that and literally ran with it. Like, I remember this being a thing in high school when the song came out and everybody was talking about it and even experimenting it. Adding shaking elements to a song like that is kind of normal and was always present in hip hop, but having whole movements was kind of resurged by the City Girls and Meg Thee Stallion when they first came out. And I was here for it. I mean, I think at first the message, especially for the hot girls, was just to have fun and not be so caught up in a man that it restricts your life. The hot girl summer movement was an era, and it was filled with young women being influenced to escape the shackles of toxic men, men who serve you no purpose, and not being attached to drama and BS. And I really thought that message was fine. It was positive to a certain degree, and it was women empowerment to encourage women to be free. I think the City Girls were a little bit more pessimistic because their lyrics are a bit raunchy, a little bit more violent, and let's be real, they get deemed as ghetto, so it's going to come across less polished. But nonetheless, I think what the City Girls did was show how even the women from the hood, the ghetto, or the gutter can too be respected and seen as desired by men who people think wouldn't go for them. I also think that what the City Girls pushed was no different than what Glorilla was pushing when she told everyone that she is F-naker free. And it's a lot of girls who sing these songs, meanwhile, they're very much laid up with their boo as we speak. And I'm not mad at y'all. But if we're talking about the lyrical impacts, there's a generation of of women, and they're mainly young girls, teenagers, and those in their early 20s, they do internalize the lyrics. They're unable to decipher between what is reality and what is entertainment. And I always say, no, it's not an entertainer's job to raise your kid. However, I do think entertainers have to have some type of responsibility for the things that they do put out there. So it's a double-edged sword. I can say the exact same thing about male rappers. A lot of them have encouraged and almost made it a rite of passage for young men to be involved in a lot of degenerate and violent behavior. And it's actually influencing the youth. There are a lot of kids and teens who have jump-started their adult appeal because of these lyrics. And there are a lot of adult women who live vicariously through these lyrics. Sometimes I volunteer at schools, and the kids will literally tell me how much they want to be like Young Miami and live through her lyrics and follow her footsteps in how she goes about dating and her relationships. Like literally, a 16-year-old girl told me that she thinks that Young Miami is smart for doing what it takes to keep her man, in this case P. Diddy, because she's securing the bag and using a man to get what she needs. And in my head, I was thinking, what she needs is some self-confidence. What this young girl needs is some self-esteem. What this little girl needs is to think highly of herself, and what she definitely needs is something to freshen up her mindset and everything about her. And I have the perfect product for her. Introducing our sponsor, Scentbird. So Scentbird is today's video sponsor, and y'all know I'm all about fragrance these days. Scentbird is a fragrance-based subscription service with a mission to empower each and every person to express themselves through scent. Scentbird carries brands like Gucci, Versace, and Prada, and many more of your favorites. Scentbird is for fragrance aficionados and beginners like myself, and they've sent me 3 new scents to try out. So some of my personal favorite scents include warm scents such as vanilla, lavender, and jasmine, and then also bolder scents like woods, leather, and some fruity smells as well. So they must have known what I liked because I received some really good ones. I received Dans Les Bois, which is bold and intoxicating. It has a woody and leather smell, but in a feminine way. Reminds me of what you would wear to like a gala or a dinner party. Next, I received Sexual Noir. This one is definitely giving rich auntie. It has vanilla, which is my favorite, and it's something you wear when you want to attract the man of your dreams. Definitely a flirty scent. And lastly, I received House of Salage, Whispers of Truth. This one is definitely the fruity grapefruit and citrus smell. This would be like a daytime fragrance, as it reminds me of the outdoors on a sunny spring day. So Scentbird sends you sample sizes of brand name fragrance brands so you can test out your favorite scents at a fraction of the cost and the size. Their easy tube design promotes simple delivery of the fragrance sprays, and it locks and unlocks, which is a safer and more efficient way to travel with them, store these away, and share with others. So Scentbird has me smelling good all the time, and I encourage everyone to step into the fragrance game at some point because it really does add to you making a statement in many different environments. At work, at school, at the club, on a date, smelling good is the priority. So Scentbird sent me a code for my viewers to get money off of your orders. Use Queen55 to get 55% off of your first month at Scentbird and your individuality and the power to express yourself through fragrance. Thank you, Scentbird, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get right back into this video. So think about what it means to have a youthful mindset. When you are inexperienced or you are unaware or you're just oblivious to what you're listening to. Being that naive, it does cause people to follow in movements that they haven't really deciphered. And it's one thing if there are women who just listen to the songs and their lyrics and live by it because that's truly who they are. But we can't ignore the fact that there are people that are actually being influenced and only conform to these narratives because it's in the songs that they listen to by their favorite artists. I feel like artists now don't take responsibility for the things that they say. They only take responsibility when they're called out. In some cases, back in the day, a lot of artists were making songs, but also encouraging their fan base to not follow up in everything that they talked about, especially their younger fan bases who were at the impressionable parts of their lives.
How do you help little 12-year-olds like this understand that the music that they're listening to should not affect their lives? We're concerned about 12-year-olds singing about sex like this. Yeah. So what do you say, Lil'
Well, I definitely think that Chanel is too young, but mostly I think that she listens to it for the sound, and for me being a young, positive, black young woman doing my thing, you know what I'm saying, and getting over a hump. And I want you to make sure you keep God in your life. And me, as an older person to you, I want you to, be sure, I feel that you're too young to be having sex. You're too young to be listening to my music too. But if you're going to listen to it, make sure you do the right thing. Don't go out and have sex for the wrong reasons. And if you do...
A lot of this stuff is adult content, so as an adult, the lyrics are going to apply to you. And I don't think that every single lyric has to be kid-friendly because it defeats the purpose of adult expression. I just think that even for adult women, the lyrics definitely play a role in some of the culture that we have within women these days. We can't only blame the lyrics in a lot of the songs, but each of these artists are meant to push an agenda. Their labels concoct a persona, a sound, and a subject matter that represents them. And we've seen a lot of female artists push a lot of these narratives over the last few years, and their lyrics definitely have played an effect on on the population of women as a whole. Now, my second point is the pushback. I think right now we're in a time of clarity. 2023 has been the year of revelation for a lot of people, and we're only a few months in. I think this past year, a lot of discourse has taken place on platforms such as YouTube and social media blogs that has edified a lot of the public about the reality or the flip side of things that we do. In this case, in particular, the music that we listen to. So it's almost beating a dead horse for me to reiterate the fact that there is some negativity in the lyrics and the mannerisms and the movements. The positive to it, like I said earlier, is the fact that I think both of these movements pioneered a lot of women to be free of feeling suppressed or oppressed when it came to Black girl fun. And yes, it does expand outside of urban radio, but I think everyone cultivating this hot girl summer or city girls up score count was indeed just as good as it may have also been bad. I mean, what I took away was that it is okay to sometimes let your hair down and really say F these nakers, or believe in the fact that your womanhood can get you some benefits or get you far in certain scenarios. And I think all of that is good and dandy. It may just be the lens that we've seen it in, which is why there is a pushback. Right now, I think a lot of people are either jumping ship on a lot of the imagery in these movements because some of us are getting older and our interests are changing. Some of us are at the point where really going out of the way to have explicit fun or even portraying ourselves in certain ways to attract different things just doesn't stroke us anymore. Some people have also experienced a burnout from following a lot of the lyrics to the T and not reaping the types of benefits that they wanted. And then some people have just deciphered that part of it is just entertainment and most of it isn't reality. Like the tweet said, Meg Thee Stallion and JT have basically been telling women not to give a damn about these nakers for years. Meanwhile, they're both in happy relationships. And some people may argue that the message can still stand with the fact that they are in full-blown public relationships, but I think that's just trying to make excuses. You can't say F these nakers while having a man who loves you. It just doesn't hit the same and it doesn't seem as credible. Overall, the pushback from parts of the audiences just have to deal with the growth a lot of people are going towards and just the transparency that we've acquired over the years about the message and the messengers. So my third and final point is what will happen next. So I think the general public is asking for the same individuals who have pushed the hot girl and city girl movements to channel the energy more towards the next step of their words. And by that, I mean, if we've all gotten to a point where we understand the game, we know how to approach men, we know how to finesse, we know how to utilize our assets to yield beneficial outcomes, and the girls have taught us all of this, we are at that now what standpoint. Like, okay, now that we've learned the game and we've applied it, what do we do next? And so I think for all of these movements to stay, or at least for them to be effective and trending in a more long-lasting effect, the artists have to switch it up a little bit. You can still keep the same swag and the same movement because all of these people have fans, but it's now showing your fans how this mindset and this movement has really worked for you. I would be here for a love ballad or some type of feel-good song from all of these artists because I think we got the point. Don't mess with broke men, which I agree. Don't overstay your welcome as a woman, which I agree. Don't let anybody restrict your fun, your entertainment, and your life, which I agree. And use what your mama gave you to get what you need, which I low-key somewhat agree with. I think what was missing was that some women didn't realize that you don't compromise your morals and your respect all while doing all of this. And some women took the message and went about it in one way, and some other women took the message and went about it in a different way that did compromise some things. And because we are utilizing these representations who are doing the most extreme and sometimes the most vulgar versions of what they're rapping about, there's been a lot of emulation, but it hasn't worked out for the majority of women. So I think all that needs to happen is that the movements have to show a successful outcome. And if that is getting a man, I'm not sure if that's the goal for the artist or everyone. It seems like the artists have won, and the average women who listened to the songs and lived exactly by the words did not win. Again, it's no artist's responsibility to raise children, let alone grown women as well. But I do think there is a little responsibility on artists to clarify or be transparent about what comes with what you're putting out there. It's not mandatory, but I just think it's the moral thing to do. So overall, yes, the city girl movement and the hot girl movement and a lot of what these female rappers have put out as a narrative for teens and young women has affected women in good and bad ways. So I think moving forward, people just have to remember that there is a line between entertainment and reality. Remember, what may work for you may not work for me. Only apply aspects from the movements that you're comfortable with. Don't ever internalize everything that an artist raps or sings about, and have your own mind. City girls may be up 1 million points right now, but be sure that those points resonate with your core values and beliefs, and be sure to cut your cloth according to your size. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. If you haven't already, go stream my song Ballin', link down below. New music dropping this month. Also, thank you to Scentbird for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to check out their products. I will have all the links down below. Again, you can use my coupon code here for money off of your first order. And lastly, don't forget to follow me on all of my social media networks, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all. 34 B cup, 30 in the deep cut, 20 baddies with me, QTM, yeah, we up. 16 tops and bottoms, man, I went and got my teeth done. 10 minutes with him, now his 15 minutes is cut. Never ever make a nigga think that he up, cause you a queen and I'm a queen, now shout out to Latifah. Security in the back with a racket like Serena. Ex-nigga crying, laugh at him like a hyena. Like, damn, what you saying, daddy? Yeah, I know I got it fatty. Pussy talking to him, talk my shit, yeah, I be getting catty. Play with me, I bet you won't. Daddy on his chest and now he calling me a stethoscope. Pink fit, look thick, I'm looking good, incredible. Cut a nigga off, I'm coming through like a semicolon. Mansion in the motherland, December come, that's where we going. Body have my niggas frozen, niggas put my picture up and yeah, they go and get the lotion. And I'm the one they check up on. Feeling so lucky, getting green like a leprechaun. Run a few errands with the bag with the checkers on it. Push it on the floor because it's